Hello, everyone.
Hello, teacher.
Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the English class. It's nice to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. So, class, we're going to start our third session. Let me share the screen. Okay. Well, as you know, this is English for Information Technology. This is our workshop number 3, and I am teacher Vivian Perez. Welcome, everybody. I really appreciate your time and your responsibility and punctuality, and also your attention. So let's start. Class, I have a couple of questions for you. First of all, do you like shopping online? Any volunteers? Somebody who would like to participate? Tell me, what about this? Do you like it? Yes, no, sometimes. It depends. Iraí?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Well, I don't really use any app for shopping online, but I kind of like it because it's like easy to see what you are going to buy and you are in a comfortable space for doing it instead of walking around where you live and take hours and hours and compare things for one shop to another. So I think it's like better, but it have the its risks with security and things like that. So I don't use it.
Okay, all right, good point. Thank you so much for participating, Iraí. What about the second question, class? What are some advantages and disadvantages of shopping online? What can you say about that? Well, I think that Iraí already mentioned some of them, but well, let me know. What do you think, class? What are other advantages and disadvantages about shopping online? Any ideas?
In my case, teacher, for example, I used to shopping online, but not all the kind of things. For example, I shopped online some electronics and electro appliances. Um, I I consider one advantage is you can receive the the product on your onto your home or your office with without extra pay, and it is something very heavy. You cannot if you don't have anyone person to help you, it don't matter because they provide the total um, process until
Mhm.
the delivery. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Mhm. Very nice. Thank you so much for answering and participating. Well, class, so today we're gonna start unit number 5, which is e-commerce. We're gonna talk about this. So let's discuss about some vocabulary, grammar, and other useful contents for you. So, well, let's start with a unit. First of all, let's talk about quantity, expressions for quantity. It depends on two things. If you have countable nouns or if you have uncountable nouns. So remember that the countable nouns are the ones that you can count. And you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, or more. And the uncountable nouns are the ones that you can't count. So, for example, if I say, I have some friends, is it possible to count my friends? What do you think? Yeah, it's possible to count friends. I can say I have 1 friend, I have 2 friends, I have 3 friends. I can count people, for example, 1 person, which is the singular form, 2 people, 3 people, and so on. But what happens if I'm talking about water or if I'm talking about air? Is it possible to count them? No, right? So those are the 2 categories, the countable and the uncountable nouns. Okay, so we're going to learn phrases or words to refer to the countable and others to refer to the uncountable nouns. Let's start with many, and few. Okay, many refers to muchos or for countable nouns, and few, pocos, for countable nouns as well. So we use many and few with countable plural nouns. That's important for plural nouns. For example, we need a few users to test this. Necesitamos pocos usuarios, a few, pocos. They don't have many customers. No tienen muchos clientes. Many, muchos. Can I count users? Yeah, I can say 1 user, 2 users, 3 users. Can I count customers? Of course. I can say 1 customer, 2 customers, 3 customers, etc., etc. So you see, few and many for countable plural nouns. Now we have much and little. These are like the same, but for uncountable nouns. Let's say that much is the uncountable way to say many, and a little is the uncountable way to say a few. So much, what is the meaning of much? Mucho. And a little, poco. But the difference is that this one is uncountable, remember. We have a little money. Class, can we count money? Can we count money? What do you think? Yes, no?
Yes.
Sure?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Money, I can count it, but by saying I can count the coins. I can count the bills, right? I can say I have 1 coin, 2 coins, or 4 bills. But money itself, the general term, can't be countable. So that's why we say a little money and not a few money, ¿ok? Aunque parezca extraño, lo que es el término en sí de money, dinero, no se cuenta. Contamos los billetes, contamos cuántas monedas tenemos. Por ejemplo, yo puedo decir, tengo esta cantidad de monedas, por lo tanto tengo, no sé, digamos, tengo 5 monedas de 100, entonces tengo 500 colones. ¿Ok? Así. Pero el término en sí, money, is uncountable, es no contable. Now, I don't have much knowledge. Knowledge, conocimiento. No tengo mucho conocimiento on that subject. Can I count knowledge? No, I can't. I don't say 1 knowledge, 2 knowledges, 3. No, that's not even pluralized. Ni siquiera se puede pluralizar, ¿ok? Porque no es contable. So, do you understand the difference between the countable and the uncountable nouns, class? Is that clear?
Yes, teacher.
Excellent. Okay, and there are other expressions that we use for both. Hay otras que se utilizan para ambas, for countable and for uncountable. And they are a lot and some. What is a lot? Well, a lot can be replaced many or can replace many and much. Podemos utilizar a lot como si fuera many o como si fuera much, porque a lot se refiere a mucho o muchos. Some, it's like in the middle. Some is not a lot, some is not a few or a little, it's like in the middle. Está como a la mitad, algunos. Some money. So remember, a lot of and some can be used in both cases, for countable and for uncountable nouns. That's why we can say a lot of businesses or some money for both, for nouns that we can count and for those that we can't. Okay? Let me know if you have questions, please. Questions? Okay. Well, here we have this short practice that I would like you to complete. It says, choose the correct words to complete these sentences. You have two options in each sentence. So tell me the one you consider is correct according to the previous explanation. Number one says, a lot of, this is one option, or much, this is the other option. Shops have online presence. Okay. The sentence is talking about shops. Class, can I count shops?
Yes.
Yes, so what is the correct option in this case?
A lot of.
A lot of.
A lot of, exactly, a lot of shops. They sell many or much products online. Can I count products?
Yes, many.
Yes, of course. So which one is correct? Since products are countable nouns?
Many.
Many.
Many. Many. Good job. Number two, some or a little companies offer customer service. Which one, class? What do you think?
Some.
Some companies, exactly. Number three, I don't have much or many knowledge. Remember this one with knowledge.
Much.
Much. Excellent. Number four, companies spend a lot of or many money.
A lot.
A lot. Is money countable or uncountable? What do you remember?
Uncountable.
It's uncountable. Nice. You're paying attention. Number five, even when companies only have a little or a few money. Which one?
A few.
A little.
Okay, in this case, it's a little because a few is for the countable nouns. Okay. Well, class, well done. Any questions? Okay, well, if we're clear, let's continue. So now this is about types of business. There are 4 types of business that we're going to study. The first one is the B2C or business to consumer. What is this? Well, I would like to have somebody, maybe a participant, a volunteer, to read the description and the example. Is there any volunteer, please?
Me? I can do it.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. Business to customer. Companies sell products or services directly to individual customers. Example, purchasing books from Amazon.
Thank you. Well, in this type of business, as you can see, it's something direct from the company to the individual or from the business to the person. That's something like that, direct. Like books from Amazon, streaming movies on Netflix as well. Okay, that's something that you can directly do from the company to you, to the service that you need. Well, the next one, maybe Erika, can you continue, please? B2B, business to business.
Companies that provide technology products or services to other businesses. Example, cybersecurity tools.
Thank you so much. Okay, this is something among business. Okay, from company to company, not from an individual one. So not from another person or from a business to a person, no. Like security or cybersecurity tools, software services, and these kind of things. C2C, consumer to consumer. Erika, go ahead.
Individual consumers interact directly with other consumers. Example, Facebook Marketplace.
Thank you so much. Well, in this case, this is not related to any company, not business. It's just from person to person. And mostly it is developed by digital platforms, okay? Like Facebook Market, Airbnb, and all of these things that we have nowadays, many facilities, right? That we can get a product or sell a product or offer a service. The last one, e-commerce. Erika.
Buying and selling products through mobile devices. Example, booking.com.
Thank you. Well, as you know, nowadays with technology, we have many benefits, many facilities to do lots of things, okay? Transactions, purchases, and well, so by the use of mobile devices, it's a way for us to do many things from home, right? So it's very easy nowadays with technology. So we use many apps, or there are many apps that provide those services, or well, that facilitate many tasks, like booking.com, also banking apps, etc. Thank you very much, Erika. You're so kind. Well, class, any questions or any comments that you would like to add? Okay, perfect. Let's continue. So let's complete this short practice in which you have to match the type of business with the explanation and examples provided. Okay, the first one, it says, companies exchange information and make wholesale transactions. For example, coffee supplier to Nestle. Which type of business do you think it is?
Business to business.
Exactly. Business. Business to business. Yeah, very good. From a company to another company. And number two, companies sell products or services to customers over the internet. For instance, Amazon. Which one?
Customer to customer.
It says company sell. Companies are the ones that sell.
B2C.
Exactly. This is from the business to the consumer or the customer. What about number three? People sell or exchange second-hand used items and collectibles. Example, eBay.
C2C.
The C2C, yeah. This one is from consumer to consumer. And well, the last one, customers purchase products and services via mobile devices like news, sport results, and many things. Yeah, of course, this is the and commerce. Okay, class. Questions, doubts, comments? Okay, well. Now, let's continue with linking ideas. Let's talk about some words that are very useful to link, to connect ideas. Estas palabras son muy útiles y muy importantes porque nos ayudan a unir las oraciones. Y de esta manera nuestras ideas se expresan de una manera más coherente y más fluida. So, let's talk about and, but, so, and or. Let's start with and. We use and to link. Remember that link means to join, to connect. Significa unir, conectar. To link sentences that describe similar actions or situations. Okay, so and helps us connect similar ideas. Nos ayuda a conectar ideas que son similares o que son como de la misma categoría. Okay, for example, I have a PC and a laptop at home. So as you can see, a PC and a laptop are two things related to technology. Okay, or I like cats and dogs. I'm talking about the same. Even though cats and dogs are different animals, at the end they're animals. So I'm talking about the same thing. Al final estoy hablando de lo mismo. Los gatos y los perros. Cats and dogs. We use but to link sentences that describe different ideas or actions or situations. Okay, but I forgot to mention, and means y, but means pero. So when you have an opposite idea or a different idea, one good option is but. Cuando tiene una idea diferente o opuesta a lo que está diciendo, una buena opción, porque hay múltiples frases para unir, pero una buena opción para utilizar es but, pero. I use Amazon, but I don't use iTunes, ¿ok? Utilizo Amazon, pero no utilizo iTunes. You see, it is kind of contradictory. En cierta parte como que se contradice, porque dice que utilizo esto, pero no utilizo lo otro. Entonces, por eso les digo que es una buena opción cuando ustedes quieren hablar de cosas que son como opuestas o que son diferentes. Okay, the next one is so. Entonces. We use so to say that something has happened as a result of something. So is used to say that a result. So, ¿qué significa entonces? Se utiliza para decir el resultado de una acción o el resultado de algo. She's got a Kindle, so she doesn't buy many books now. Como ella ahora utiliza Kindle, o como ahora tiene Kindle, entonces ya no compra muchos libros. Okay, so that's the result. El resultado de que ya que utiliza Kindle es que ya no compra muchos libros. And finally, or. We use or to link sentences that describe two possible actions or situations. Or, what is or? O. When we have choices. Cuando tenemos opciones. Or one thing or the other. O una o la otra. Would you like tea or coffee? ¿Te gustaría té o café? You see? Options, choices. Right? So, as a reminder, and means y, to connect similar ideas. But means pero, to connect different or opposite ideas. So means entonces, to say or to describe the result. Or is to express options or choices for possible situations, which means o. Class, are we clear?
Yes, teacher, all clear.
Great. Okay. Don't hesitate to raise your hand or just to turn on your microphone to ask me any questions. Also, you can leave questions in the chat. I'll be checking them at the end of the class. Well, based on the previous explanation, class, I want you to complete this chart. Well, this text. Let's complete it by using and, but, or, and so. Okay? Well, let's start. It says companies want to reach more customers. They go online. Class, which one do you think should be the answer?
So,
Maybe so.
Excellent. So, it is easy to set up an online business. It is difficult to design. What do you think?
But
Exactly, something different, stating something opposite. It's saying that it is easy, but at the same time, it's saying that it is difficult. Number 3, hardware. Software provide basic infrastructure, sorry. What do you think?
and
Excellent. And that's something similar. And the last one, well, of course, customers expect a fast and reliable service. Well, the remaining option is or, okay? Well, it was a little obvious, but I want you to analyze or in this case, right? That's what happens if customers don't get what they want or what they expect. Well, they will go somewhere else. So, or one thing or the other. Or they are given a good service, or they will go somewhere else. You see? So, 2 options there. Class, questions so far? Okay. Now, this is another grammar section for the class or of the class, which is the use of will. Will plus an infinitive. What is will, class? Will expresses future. So we're gonna use will plus the infinitive. I'm gonna show you an example in a moment, but first I want to explain a little bit about will. When do we use will, class? Will is used to talk about future plans, but based on our beliefs, based on our expectations, lo que yo creo que va a pasar, porque yo lo espero o porque estoy muy seguro, pero al final, pues es mi opinión. No es un plan como tal, pero sí es digámoslo de alguna manera, que es un plan basado en mi expectativa, en mi creencia, no en lo que ya está evidente que va a ser así. Es mi pensar. I believe or I expect something will happen. Also, it is used for predictions, right? Since it's my opinion, it's my belief, I can predict it. So it's used for that, for predictions. Para predecir, también se utiliza para predecir. Decisions made at the moment of speaking, something spontaneous. Se utiliza para decisiones del momento. Es espontáneo. Will. And used for promises. Cuando prometemos algo en inglés, decimos will. I will. Prometo. So let me give you a couple of examples. The first one is an affirmative. The new security system will protect our files better. Okay, based on the structure that I told you before, remember, will plus the infinitive is the verb with no conjugation. Okay, ¿a qué me refiero con el infinitive? Cuando utilizamos el verbo sin alguna conjugación. Por ejemplo, puedo decir to protect, like in this case, to be, to cook, to study, to work. ¿Ok? Son los verbos sin ningún tipo de conjugación. Eso en su estado o en su base, en su forma base. Pero le vamos a quitar el to. ¿Ok? No vamos a decir will to. That's grammatically incorrect. Está gramaticalmente incorrecto. Entonces decimos will plus the verb without to. Will protect, will study, will communicate, will connect, right? Without to. Also, we have the negative form. What is the negative form of will? Well, we have won't, which is the contraction. Want es la forma corta de decir will not. So remember, will not is the long form to say won't. Es la forma larga de decir won't. Because remember that in English we use a lot of contractions. So that's why we say won't. Recordemos que en inglés se utilizan muchas formas cortas. Entonces, aquí está un ejemplo de ellas. Will not changes into won't as a reduced form. Okay, something important, class, that I would like to highlight is about the questions. Me gustaría hacer un poquito de énfasis en la parte de preguntas with will. Let me change the color. Okay, will in questions. When it is a yes, no question, I can say will. For example, will you stay home? Will you stay home? Okay, so what do I mean? I start with will. Sorry, capital letter. Because I'm starting the sentence. Will, then you refers to the subject. After you, the verb. The verb in the base form with no conjugation. Recuerden que utilizamos el verbo sin ninguna conjugación en su forma base. Will you stay? Will you stay home? This is a yes, no question. Esta es la estructura para las preguntas cuya respuesta será yes or no. Why? Because I can say here, I can say yes, I will, or no, I won't. Like this. You see? Now, there are other questions that are called the WH questions or information questions. Let me change the color again. Okay. In this case, the WH questions go like this. These ones are called information questions as well because the answer, or in the answer, you will provide that information. ¿Por qué se las llaman WH questions? Porque, o también llamadas preguntas de información, porque a la hora de contestar, ¿qué voy a dar yo? Información, information. So, what, for example, what will you say now? For example, what will you say now? Okay, I will say that I'm ready. I will say that I'm hungry. I don't know. Okay, so what will you say now? Or where will you be, for example? Where will you be? Okay, son todas estas preguntas que conocemos como las WH questions, like what, where, when, why, how, todas esas. Voy a ponerlas acá como un reminder. What? You can help me, class. What other WH questions do you remember? What, where, what else? Tell me.
Why?
When?
When?
Why, when, excellent.
Who?
Ajá. Which one?
Who?
Who?
Which?
Which, excellent. Ajá. What else?
How?
How. Very nice. Okay, so these ones are the WH questions, and the structure or the basic structure using will goes like this. WH plus will plus the subject plus the verb in the base form. Okay, va más o menos la estructura así como en una oración muy, como la manera más común de encontrarlas, ¿ok? O de utilizarlas. So remember, yes, no question, will, subject, verb in the base form, and then the rest. WH questions, WH word, will, subject, the verb in the base form, and the rest. Okay? So class, tell me, any questions, comments? No, we're fine? All right, so let me clear my annotations. Okay, good. Here, I added this, this image from the textbook that explains what I already mentioned. So the use of will, remember, plus an infinitive without to, single to talk about plans for the future, something we think, we believe, or know will happen. Algo que pensamos, que creemos, o que sabemos que pasará. And here we have some examples, some additional examples. Class, I need a volunteer to read the examples, please. A volunteer to read the examples, please.
I can start.
Go ahead. Who was gonna help me to read the examples? It's because I feel that I'm talking too much. Go ahead. It's just Rodriguez, I think.
Painless.
Here, the new
Okay,
security
the
system.
new security system will protect our customers better. Hackers won't or will not get into the network. When will we change to the new security system? We will do it next month. And will the new system have a firewall? Yes, it will, or not, it won't.
Thank you so much. Okay, class, remember this is the contraction want of will not. And I forgot to mention the contraction of the affirmative form. It's apostrophe LL. Okay, so that means will. That's the abbreviation of will. So in this case, will. That's the subject pronoun we plus will changes into will. Okay, apostrophe LL. I can say I'll, for example. I can say you'll, etc. Okay, class, I have an extra practice for you that I would like you to complete. Let me stop sharing for a while because I want to explain you what you need to do. And then, of course, you will be working on this. So let me share my screen again with the practice. Okay, class. Here you will find some exercises to practice the future simple will in affirmative, negative, and also questions. Okay, it consists on 3 parts. First, it says, write positive sentences in the future using will. So you have some information in parentheses that you have to use to create your sentence. Okay, let's complete one per section in order to clarify doubts, and then you do it by yourself. So what about the first one, class? It says, I do this later. Okay, let's create a sentence using these words with will. What do you think, class?
I will do this later.
Okay, so you write it. Be careful with your spelling. Be careful when you need to use capital letter. Be careful with the apostrophes when necessary, because all those details count. And sometimes the practice, when the system checks them automatically, well, at the end gives you a result that is not the best because of that. Not because you didn't do a good job or your answers were incorrect. No, it's because that's some details that we need to be careful with. So I will do this later. Okay, well, it was marked in color green. You saw it. That means that it is correct. Let's complete the first one from the second section. It says, it, parenthesis, rain not tomorrow. Class, this one is in negative. What do you think?
Won't.
It
Won't rain.
won't rain.
It
Did you have an additional comment or a question?
No.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say, class, that in this case, you don't have to write the full sentence, just the answer, okay? Won't rain. All right. Okay. The last part, it says write questions, okay? These ones are questions. Please be careful and make sure to use the question mark at the end. So, what learn they? What? Notice that this is an information question. How can I structure this, class?
What will they learn?
Make sure to start with capital letter. What will they learn? And question mark. Exact. So, class, once you finish, click here, check for you to see the result. Okay? Now, when you get the result, please take a screenshot and send it in the chat. Okay? Because I want to make sure you did it and to make sure you understood. Are we clear, class? You're gonna work on this individually.
Okay, teacher, can you please send us the link?
Sure, I'll do it right away. Just a moment, please. Well, class, the link is in the chat. I'm gonna give you about 7 minutes or so for you to complete it. Please don't forget to send your screenshots in the chat. I'll be here. Excuse me, Irai, do you mean if I can see the screenshot that you sent?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
See it, no problem. Class, don't forget to send your screenshot. I have got some of them. I'm waiting for the rest. Estoy esperando que los demás envíen su pantallazo por el chat, por favor. Okay, class, thank you so much for sharing your results in the chat. I was checking and wow, I see very good results. Veo que lo están haciendo muy bien, veo muy buenos resultados, qué dicha. Excellent, class. Okay, well, thank you so much for practicing and participating. Agradezco mucho la participación y los que faltan, ahí pueden estarlo enviando al chat en el transcurso de la clase. So, let's continue. Okay. Let me share the presentation again. Okay, class, we're gonna complete this conversation by using the vocabulary from the chart. Okay, you have to complete it with accounts, bank, completes, confirmation, customer, first, gateway, payment, rejection, and web. So, let's do it like this. I would like to have two volunteers, class. Two students, one to be Monica and the other to be Cheyenne. Two volunteers, please, to read the conversation and complete it together. Jasmine, okay, perfect. And I need another one, please. Another volunteer, somebody to participate with Jasmine.
I can.
Thank you, Erika. Well, you can start.
Okay. How do I pronounce the first name? Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, okay.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, can you explain how a customer completes an online transaction?
Okay, it's very easy. First, the customer will place an order. The sellers bank, I don't know. The seller's bank server, web, okay. The seller's web server will confirm availability of the product and send a response. After that, the customer checks out and completes the confirmation
Payment.
instructions. I don't know. Payment. Okay. And then the server will send a payment request to a payment gateway. Okay? The payment gateway will check the buyer's ability to pay with the, I don't know, with the
Bank.
bank. Okay.
Fine. Go on.
The bank will respond and send payment acceptance or confirmation to the seller's web
Rejection.
server. Rejection, okay. To the seller's web server through the payment gateway. Finally, the customer will receive the server response with the order confirmation, ahora sí, or
Yes.
rejection. Okay.
Well, the customer have to register.
Yes, all buyers must have their
Account.
account. Yeah, their account before they complete the transaction.
Mhm.
Thank you. Now I understand.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your participation. Yeah, it's just to practice. Maybe in this case, since we're doing it spontaneously, we don't have like too much time to think and analyze the possibilities. But when you do it in a practice at your own rhythm or in a test or quiz, try to read everything and if with or let's say, try to read everything very carefully. Take your time and analyze all the possibilities for you to complete it with the correct or the options that you consider are the best. But in this case, since it was like in the moment, maybe it's confusing, but with practice, I know that you will do it. Okay, well, good job. Well, class, with this, we finish unit number 5. I would like to know if you have questions, if you have any additional comments, any doubts that you would like to clarify before we continue with the next unit. Nobody? Right? So let's start unit number 6, which is about network systems. First, it's important to study this vocabulary that is very useful, and probably you will find it in a lot of practices and in evaluation. So let's start with the LAN, which is the local area network. Why is it called local? Because it's the network that connects computers or other devices in a small area, in a limited area. For example, at home, in an office, in a small building, in a school, okay? Something or a small area. That's why it's called local. Also, we have the WAN, which is wide area network, okay? So remember, local is small and wide is big. So that's why it says it covers a large geographical area. This is for, of course, much bigger places or areas like businesses, public infrastructure, and these kind of things or places that are much bigger and, of course, need to be covered by something, let's say, that can be wider. Then the VPN, which is a virtual private network. This one creates a secure connection over a public network. So users can safely access to the data so that they can keep their information safe. Okay, that's why it's called virtual private network, because it provides that security to the users. A good example of this is the remote workers, of course, that they need to be connected securely to the internal company network. Class, any additional comments over here? Anybody? Well, so we're going to use that vocabulary and other words as well to complete this email. Okay, we have equipment, internet, LAN, recommend, remote, should, VPN, and WAN. So class, I'm going to read it and I want your participation. Okay, I want you to tell me the vocabulary you consider should go on each space. Okay, it says, following our meeting last week, please find my recommendations for your business. I think you set up a LAN. What do you think?
Recommend.
Or should.
Okay, in this case, should. It's a recommendation. Recommend also, but in this case, you should. Why you should and not you recommend? Because I am the one giving the recommendation. I think you should. Okay, if I say you recommend, it's because you are the one giving the recommendation, but it's me. I think you should do this or that. Okay, let's continue. Okay. A connects devices over a small area. For example, your apartment and the shop. Which one? Which one connects devices over a small area, class?
LAN.
Exactly, the LAN or LAN, limited area. The next one, number 3. In addition, you should connect office, such as the printer, scanner, and fax machine. Those are what?
Equipment.
Equipment. Excellent. Number 4, I'd or I would, it's the contraction of I would, I'd recommend that we connect the LAN to a, so you can link to the internet and sell your products. Sorry, which one?
One.
Oh, we already used LAN.
No, one.
One. I'm sorry.
N.
I'm sorry, I heard LAN. Okay, the WAN. Good. Number 5. In addition, we set up a virtual private network so that you have. So, what do you think? Number 5.
Recommend.
Exactly. I recommend. I'm the one recommending. I recommend. So that you have a access to your company's LAN.
VPN.
Okay, this is a remote access. Why remote? Look, when you travel, you need it when you are not working on site. Okay, when you travel, you need it. Okay. It's a private network that uses a public network. Which one?
VPN.
VPN. Usually to connect remote sites or users together.
Internet.
Of course, what we are using in this moment. Okay, we are working remotely and we are connected. So we're connected through the internet. Very good, class. Good job. Well, we're gonna learn about this very common word, which is because. Because is the word that we use in order to state the reason for an action or situation. So that means porque, para decir la razón por la cual sucede algo. Porque it's an answer, es la respuesta. You should connect office equipment to the LAN because you can then share devices between users. All right, so I can use because class to connect two sentences or to connect two ideas, but when I refer to a reason, cuando lo puedo utilizar también como para conectar, ¿se acuerdan que antes vimos unas palabras para conectar oraciones como so, vimos and, entre otras? Because también es una palabra muy común que nos ayuda a poder conectar, pero el énfasis es decir la razón de algo. ¿Por qué deberías de conectar el equipo de oficina? Porque puedes compartir tus dispositivos entre los usuarios, you see? Porque that's stating the reason why. I'd recommend a Dell computer because it is cheaper. You see, I'm giving a reason why I recommend it. Why do I recommend a Dell computer, class, according to that sentence? Why? Why do I recommend it? What is the reason why in the second sentence?
Because it is cheaper.
Because it's cheaper. Exactly. That's the reason why. Ahí está la razón, porque es más barata. Okay. Why do you use encryption? Class, the question why is answered with because. La pregunta why se responde con because. Okay. Si queremos traducirlas, tal vez como para obtener una respuesta más precisa, prácticamente significan lo mismo, pero una es por qué y la otra es por qué. ¿Por qué? Pregunta, ¿por qué utilizas? ¿O por qué lo compras? ¿O por qué lo conectas? ¿Por qué? Because. So, the answer of why is because. La respuesta a la pregunta why es utilizando because. That's the correct way to answer. Esa se contesta de manera correcta. I have a couple of questions for you as extra examples, and I would like you to answer. Class, me gustaría que las contesten. The first one, why should you backup your data regularly? Tell me, why? Anyone?
To avoid lost my information.
Okay, so you can say because I need to keep my information safe, or because I need to save my information. Try to answer with because, right? What about the next one? Why is it important to upgrade firewalls? Why, class? Why is it important to upgrade firewalls? Tell me a reason based on your knowledge, your opinion.
Because we need to improve the protections against viruses.
Exactly. Exactly right. Very good answer, by the way. Yeah, because. And you state your reasons. Very nice, class. Tell me, questions, comments? No, we're fine. Very good. Okay, so now we're gonna continue with other vocabulary. This is very useful class, and it's important that you practice it, that you study this vocabulary and try to learn it, okay? Es importante que traten de repasarlo, que traten de sabérselo, de comprender este vocabulario. Let's start with the router. Connects different networks and directs data traffic between them. So in other words, the router uses the same protocol. And also it is a key component in home and in business networks. Es un componente clave para para la conexión en los hogares, en los negocios o en las empresas, las compañías y demás. Okay, and remember, use the same protocol. I didn't write it there, but use the same protocol. Okay, repeater receives, amplifies, and retransmits the signal. So what does the repeater do? It extends the range of the signal. ¿Qué es lo que hace el repeater? Extiende el rango de señal, extends the range of the signal, and it is common in communication systems. Es muy común en los sistemas de comunicación. Also, we have the switch. It is used in computer networks to connect multiple devices, sends data to the specific device. For example, what kind of devices can we connect? Computers, printers, servers, among others. ¿Okay? Podemos conectar, por ejemplo, la computadora, la impresora, servidores y demás. The bridge connects. Remember bridge. What is the meaning of bridge? Puente. That's the meaning. Puente. Conecta, connects. Connects and filters traffic between two similar networks or more network segments. And then we have the hub, connects multiple devices, data to all connected devices. So, in other words, what does the hub do? Broadcasts the data, transmite, difunde la información to all other connected devices, a todos los otros dispositivos que están conectados. Modem, it has two processes, modulation and demodulation. Modulation, this one converts digital signals from a computer into analog systems. Este va a convertir o convierte la señal digital desde la computadora o de una computadora a una señal analógica. Demodulation. Analog signals, this one converts the incoming analog signals back into the digital data. Este va a convertir desde las señales analógicas a la información digital. Okay, so there it consists on two processes, modulation and demodulation. And finally, we have the gateway. What is the gateway? Connects different networks that use different protocols. Remember that the router, I told you how many protocols does the router use? Let's see if you remember. How many? ¿Cuántos protocols usaba el router? I mentioned before. Don't remember? ¿No recuerdan cuántos protocolos utiliza el router? Antes se los dije como, I think twice, como 2 veces. Okay, use the same. It's the same protocol. Utiliza el mismo protocolo. But the gateway uses different, okay? Different protocols. Entonces, tal vez esos son como palabrillas claves que les pueden ayudar a ustedes a identificar, porque hay muchos que se parecen o se tienden a confundir. Entonces, tal vez irnos como por esas palabras claves, ¿verdad? Entonces, el gateway acts as a bridge between two different systems or networks. Como este conecta diferentes protocolos, este actúa como un puente que conecta dos diferentes sistemas o networks, different protocols. Okay, so class, based on this information, I would like you to complete the matching. Okay, on your left, you have the words that we studied before: a modem, a repeater, a bridge, a router, a gateway, a switch, a hub, and a wireless access point. On your right, you have the descriptions. So I want you to tell me, class. Well, let's do it like this. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes for you to individually complete it. Okay? And then I want your participation. Voy a darles un par de minutitos para que lo hagan de manera individual y ahorita lo revisamos en conjunto. ¿De acuerdo? Okay, 2 minutes. Well, class, ready? Okay, I want you to tell me the descriptions. A repeater, class, we already know that modulates and demodulates. That one is ready. What about number 2? A repeater, class? Who can tell me?
Send the digital signal order in the network. The letter F.
Exactly. Very good. Number 3, a bridge. What is that? What is that?
Connects networks and send packets of data between them.
Okay, you're saying the G.
Yes.
Amazing. Good job. Number 4, a router. What is a router, class?
Allows wireless.
Which one? Sorry. Can you repeat?
Allows wireless devices to connect to the network. Sí.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I didn't get it before. Well, actually, it's the age. This one connects networks the same protocol. Remember, router is with the same protocol. Gateway. What is a gateway, class?
The A is an entrance to another network.
Excellent. A switch. What is a switch?
Letter A.
The A. The A is ready. Or which one? Sorry. What is a switch?
Letter B channels incoming data but maintains the what is
Bandwidth.
pronunciation?
Bandwidth.
Speed.
El ancho de banda. Bandwidth. Okay, good job. Okay, we have two more. A hub and a wireless access point. What is a hub? Want to listen to you, class? What is a hub?
The C,
Sorry, did you say the C?
yes,
Allows wireless devices to connect to
I
the...
know that state.
Okay, well, you tell me. No problem. It's because I don't want to show you the answer yet until until you tell me which one is the hub and which one is the wireless access point. And I want to listen to different points of view. Because if I show you the answer of the 7, it's gonna be obvious, the 8. So you
I
tell me.
think that the correct answer is E. Channels incoming data, which shares the bandwidth among the devices present on a network.
For the hub.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So class, do you agree that wireless access point is the one that allows wireless devices to connect? Yeah? Is it like that? Somebody with a different point of view? No problem. We're here to analyze and practice. Okay, well, actually, yes, you were right. The hub is the one of the channels, incoming data, and the wireless access point allows wireless devices to connect. Very nice. So these are the correct answers, class. Just in case, if you want to take a screenshot, but anyway, the presentation will be shared with you next week, so you will have it. Class, any comments or questions before I move on to the next slide? Okay, well, nice job. Now we have this other conversation between Boris and Asan. You have to complete it using these words: about, change, devices, necessary, problem, speed, should, user, and what. Okay, so let's do it like this with 2 volunteers. Jasmine, would you like to practice? Okay, excellent. And I need another volunteer, please. Somebody else to practice with Jasmine. Did I? You?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, maybe we can start with Jasmine. Go ahead.
Okay. I have a problem with the network download speed. What can you suggest?
Eh,
I'm sorry, I can't listen to Iraí. Mm, one more time, please. No, Iraí, I don't hear you. Why don't you maybe just tell me the word. Why don't you?
Okay. Why don't you change the hub?
Much better. Now I could hear you perfectly. Change.
Okay.
Good.
I don't think that will work. The hub is fine. Okay, how about adding a repeater then? I'm not sure it will help. It's done a problem with the signal strength. Okay, then you should check the cables and network devices to make sure that they are compatible with your network. What about changing the modem? I don't think it's necessary. I think it's problem with the bridge, switch, or the router. You should look at the specifications. Okay, I will thanks for your help. Why don't you check a user's recommendation on the internet as well? Good idea. I do that.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. At the beginning, I didn't understand. I thought that it was Irai that was talking and I could hear her. So I was like lost, and then I realized it was you. But thank you so much for your help and participation, Jasmine. And thank you so much, Irai, as well for participating. But I don't know what happened with the other that we couldn't listen, but I really appreciate that you wanted to do it. Okay, yeah, well, the answers are correct. Class, make sure you understand everything. And, well, of course, let me know if there's something that is not clear. Okay, we're fine. Very nice. So, now we're gonna learn about making suggestions. Vamos a aprender sobre dar sugerencias. We have three ways. Tenemos tres maneras. Why don't we or why don't you? It depends on the subject. Without to, that's important. Cuando utilizamos why don't y la persona no se dice to. Why don't you call? You see, we don't say why don't you to call? No, that's incorrect. Why don't you call? Base form of the verb. Utilizamos el verbo en su forma base. Why don't you call the IT help desk? I have another example for you. Why don't you restart the server? You see, without to and using the base form of the verb. ¿Por qué no haces tal cosa? ¿Por qué no? ¿Por qué no intentas esto? ¿Por qué no haces lo otro? Why don't you? ¿Por qué no? Or why don't we? ¿Por qué no hacemos? Nosotros, we, nosotros. You, usted o ustedes. Okay, can be singular or plural. That's a good idea. Okay, next, about. What about? Plus the ing ending. What does it mean? That when we use what about, ¿qué hay de? Utilizamos la terminación ing al final del verbo. What about buying? ¿Qué hay de comprar o qué tal comprar un nuevo router? What about buying a new router? You see? In this case, no base form of the verb, no utilizamos la forma base del verbo porque le agregamos el ing al final. And also we have the other how about plus the ing form. So as you can see, the two questions with about use the ing form of the verb. Las dos preguntas con about utilizan la forma de ing al final del verbo. How about reading the instructions first? ¿Qué tal si leemos las instrucciones primero? ¿Qué tal si lees las instrucciones primero? I'll do that. Okay, so in spontaneous decision, I'll, I will. Remember, future tense. Okay, these are some extra examples that I added. Why don't you restart the server? Remember, base form of the verb. What about installing a stronger firewall? Installing ing, because the question is with about. How about configuring the software? Configuring ing at the end, because this is another question with about. So, class, to summarize, these three expressions are very useful for giving suggestions. Estas tres expresiones, why don't, más el sujeto, what about plus ing, how about plus ing, se utilizan para dar sugerencias de una manera muy sutil. Okay, how about, what about, or why don't you? Okay, and don't forget the verbs. The base form with why don't we or why don't you? ing form with how about and what about. Class, do you have any questions? Oh, perfect. All right. These are prepositions. Vamos a ver unas preposiciones that are very useful, que son muy útiles también. Let's start with between. If we translate between, that means entre o en medio de, significa entre o en medio de. And it is used to refer to a connection or relationship between systems or network or software, okay, things like that. Se utiliza para hablar de la conexión o la relación que existe entre los sistemas, entre las diferentes data, for example, information, entre la información y demás. Okay, entonces, para establecer o para referirse a la conexión o la relación. Connection or relationship. With. What is the meaning of with? Con. Significa con. The use of. El uso de. ¿Ok? Para hablar del uso de algo, usamos with. The use of tools or technologies. ¿Ok? Con el uso de herramientas o tecnologías. On. On means like this. Sobre. Sobre. Touching the surface. Que esté tocando la superficie. But in technology, that means something is installed. Vean que varía un poco a la hora de yo utilizarlo o aplicarlo en el contexto de informática. Something is installed or located within a system, que hay algo que está instalado o que está dentro de un sistema. Vean cómo cambia según el contexto del que estamos hablando. Entonces, por eso se lo digo, tanto en un contexto normal, por ejemplo, que yo diga, I don't know, the glass is on the table, el vaso está encima de la mesa, o en un contexto, digamos que sería un contexto cotidiano, o un contexto de informática, como en este caso, pues, les serviría a ustedes. So remember, something is installed or in the system. Over, not touching the surface. Over no está tocando, está encima, está sobre, pero sin tocar la superficie. In technology is the data transmission or communication. Es ese proceso de transmitir la información o ese proceso de transmitir la comunicación. And the last one is to. To means para. Destination. Direction or destination of data. El destino al que va la información. ¿Ok? Va de un lugar hacia o a tal otro. La información que yo estoy dirigiendo o que el sistema está dirigiendo. ¿Ok? okay? Depending on what you're talking about. All right? Class, tell me, questions, comments about the prepositions? Because we're going to practice them and I want to make sure you're clear. Okay, well, let's complete the sentences using the prepositions. Number 1, is this software compatible? This computer? What do you think?
With.
Amazing. With. Number 2, a LAN or a LAN connects devices, a small area. What about this one? What do you think, class? Tell me. ¿Qué opinan, chicos?
I'm not sure, but over.
Exactly. Over a small area. Number 3, is the computer connected? The modem?
To.
Okay, very nice. Number 4, the LAN or the LAN allows you to share information. Users.
Between.
Between, exactly. Connection. Number 5, why don't you look the internet?
On.
On the internet. Amazing. Good job. Class, any questions? Let me know, please. No se queden con la duda, chicos. All right. We're going to practice reading comprehension. Here we have this text, and it says, read this text about Cars IT Career App until now and answer these questions. So let's read the text and then answer the 5 questions we have here. I'm going to read the 5 questions first for you to have an idea of the information that you need to get. Number 1, when did Carr go to university? Number 2, when did he leave university? Number 3, what did he do after university? 4, where did Carr go in 2006? And 5, when did he go to Seattle? So, I need a volunteer, please, to read the text for the class. Somebody, alguno que quiera leer el texto sin miedo, sin pena. Estamos practicando. Any volunteer, please? Our teacher is going to choose. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. I left school in Cambridge in the UK at the age of 18 and went straight to the University of Bristol to study computing. I don't know. In 2000, I graduated in 2004 and decided to travel around the world for a year. In 2006, I got a job back in Cambridge with the software company ARM. I stayed with ARM for 2 years and then went to work for Microsoft in Seattle in the USA. This is where I am now and I love it.
Thank you so much. Well, class, question number 1. When did Carr go to university? When? Remember, it's talking about time.
In 2000.
In 2000, exactly. Remember the meaning of when? When. Number 2, when did he leave university?
2004.
In 2004. Nice. Number 3. What did he do after university?
Travel around the world for a year.
Exactly. Traveled around the world. 4. Where did Carr go in 2006? Where? Where means, remember, it's a question to ask for a place. ¿Dónde? Location. Where? Where did he go?
He went
back.
to Cambridge to work with a software company.
Exactly. Yeah, because since he got a job back in Cambridge, it was in the company called ARM. And the last one, class, when? When did he go to Seattle? It says, in 2006, I got a job back in Cambridge with the software company ARM.
2008.
In 2008. How do you know that it is in 2008? It's not
2 years after.
It's not said, it's not explicit in the text, but it says 2 years. I said with ARM for 2 years and then went to work for Microsoft in Seattle, and that's where he is now. So 2 years later, exactly in 2008. Very nice. Okay, class, we're doing a great job. So, we're almost finishing. We're gonna study the simple past tense. Remember that we have regular verbs and also irregular verbs. How do we identify them? Remember that the regular verbs are those ending in ed. Ed. In the past form. Okay, she created past tense. I started past tense, regular verbs. But what about the irregular verbs? They are different and they need to be memorized. So let me see if I find, but there, I don't see any irregular verbs here. But anyway, I'm gonna give you some examples. But well, my point is that the irregular verbs change. Okay, for example, I say, I sleep, slept. I go, went, past tense, right? They don't end in ed. In some cases, they don't change. They remain the same, or they just change one letter, something like that. But at the end, they are different from the regulars because they don't end in ed. Okay, something important to consider, class, is when using them in the negative form. For instance, I say, I'm gonna use the examples that we have in the chart, and it says, she created a network in December 2018. So sorry, 2008. The negative form would be by using didn't, right? But what happens when I use didn't? When I use did? The verb class, I have to change the verb into the base form. Okay? That means that, for example, instead of saying she created That's wrong. The negative form would be she didn't. Base form of the verb, create. Okay? Because did or didn't is an auxiliary. And what is the function? To modify the verb. So she didn't create it? No. She didn't, that's the past tense. She didn't create it. Another one. I started, negative form, I didn't start, right? I'm going to write a couple of examples here, and I would like you to participate and change them into the negative form, please. Let's say this one. I looked at that. Let's change this into the negative form, please. How would it be? ¿Cómo lo convertimos a su manera negativa? Recordemos, cuando usamos el auxiliar did o didn't, el didn't sería para los negativos. ¿Qué pasa con el verbo? Se modifica. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Que va a quedar en su forma base. Es incorrecto, chicos, y esto lo digo en español para que nos quede así lo más claro posible. Es un error bastante común, que a veces tendemos a confundir, como estamos hablando en pasado, dejamos el verbo en su forma pasada cuando estamos hablando en negativo, y eso está incorrecto. Entonces, recuerden, cuando ustedes están diciendo oraciones negativas, en pasado el verbo lo dejan tal cual, en su forma base. Por eso les decía, she created, she didn't create, ¿verdad? Ahora, como estoy utilizando el negativo didn't, el verbo me queda en su forma base, sin conjugarlo en pasado. Create. Lo mismo con I started. I didn't start. ¿Ok? Didn't me va a modificar el verbo, entonces lo voy a dejar en su forma base. Porque el didn't es un auxiliar y como ya el auxiliar está en pasado, no puedo poner el verbo en pasado. También es como repetir, como ser redundante. Entonces solamente el auxiliar va en pasado y el verbo queda normal. Queda en su forma base sin ninguna conjugación. Right? So, what about this one, class? In negative. I looked at that. Let's change this one into negative form, please, somebody. Vamos a cambiarla a su forma negativa.
I didn't look at that.
Excellent. I didn't look without ed, right? That's incorrect. Like this. I didn't look at that. Amazing. The next one. Oh, I found an irregular verb here. Had. I had. This one is irregular. Aquí encontramos ya un verbo irregular. No sé por qué antes se me escapó. I had broadband connected. And the rest. Okay, let's change this into negative form. I had broadband connected. No,
I didn't have
I
broadband
didn't.
connected.
I didn't have. Exactly. Notice that the verb is had. Aquí el verbo que tengo que cambiar a pasado negativo, perdón, es have. I didn't have sería ahora. I didn't have broadband and the rest. Good job. Now, some words or phrases that can help you identify when a sentence is in past are sometime expressions. Hay ciertas palabras que nos pueden ayudar a identificar cuando una oración está en pasado, que son las expresiones de tiempo. For example, December 28th. 2008. I don't know what's going on with me today with years. No sé qué pasa hoy conmigo con los años. December 2008. Here I'm talking about a past time. Vean que me estoy refiriendo a un tiempo pasado, algo que ya pasó en diciembre 2008. Last year. Last se refiere a algo pasado. Last, el año que viene. No, el año pasado, ya pasó. Last year. Yesterday. Ayer. También ya pasó. Yesterday. Ago. Hace. 3 days ago, hace 3 días. A month ago, hace un mes. 2 years ago, hace 2 años, etcétera, etcétera. So, ago, hace. That means it already happened. Ago. Cuando veo ago, significa que ya pasó. Hace tanto tiempo. Aunque sea hace un día o hace una hora o hace un minuto, pero ya pasó. Ya es pasado, no es específicamente de ahorita. It's over here as well. Last week, last year, last month. On Monday, para referirnos a algo que sucedió en cierto día de la semana. On Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, I don't know. In June, para referirnos a algo que pasó en un mes en específico. In June, in July, in December, in October, in 2001. ¿Ok? A un año que ya pasó también. In 2001. Well, so remember all of these expressions that I underlined in color green help you identify the sentences in past, in simple past. Remember, simple past, an action that occurred in the past and finished in the past. Okay, al simple past lo vamos a definir como una acción que sucedió en el pasado y terminó en el pasado. Okay, that's why it's called simple past. Class, questions. Tell me, any questions so far? No, we're fine. Que esperemos que ese silencio sea positivo. Que sí están siguiendo a la profe. Si no, nada más me dicen, por favor, no se queden con la duda. Okay, here you have a list of regular and irregular verbs. Okay, so we have look, looked, use, used, install, installed, connect, connected, work, and worked. You see, all of them ending in ed. Irregular verbs, set up, set up. This one doesn't change. Go, went, see, saw, do, did, buy, bought, and be, was. Okay, for you to try to practice and study the verbs if you don't know them very well. Okay, en caso de que todavía no se lo sepan muy bien, es importante que los repasen con tiempo porque a veces los verbos, como son tantos, esto es apenas una muestra de una lista de verbos. Pero en realidad, si ustedes se ponen a buscar una lista de verbos, es enorme, es huge. Entonces sí es importante como estarlos practicando de manera regular para que se los aprendan. Porque solo así, memorizándolos en realidad. Well, class, as a final activity, I'm going to share this link with you, which is an activity for you to practice the past tense, the verbs in past tense. Okay, I'm going to explain it very quickly. A moment, please. Okay, I'm going to share my screen one more time. Okay, so here you have to match the verbs in past with the verbs in present. Okay, you have 2 sections for this exercise. Once you finish, please click here, enviar respuestas, see the result, and take a screenshot. Cuando terminen, igual con el ejercicio anterior, ven las respuestas, bueno, el resultado, y le toman captura y lo mandan al chat, por favor. Okay, so for example, drink. Class, what is the past tense of drink?
Drank.
Drank, exactly. So you drag and drop. Okay, es un ejercicio de drag and drop, nada más lo arrastran y lo sueltan. Okay, well, I'm gonna share it in the chat. Ya se los voy a compartir para que ustedes lo vayan trabajando. Y mientras tanto voy a ir revisando unos mensajitos que veo en el chat. Disculpen que no están atentos al chat mientras explico. Es que se me dificulta un poquito mientras estoy compartiendo en pantalla, pero ya los voy a ver. You can start, class. Ya pueden ir comenzando. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your results in the chat. Muchas gracias por compartir los resultados. Bueno, he recibido 2. Igual ahí los demás también, por favor. I got one more. Good job. Very nice results, class. Okay, I'm getting more. Okay, good. Excellent. Well, don't worry if you got some mistakes. That's normal. That means that you need to practice a little more, but the exercise is there, so you can do it again if you want. Okay, pueden volver a hacer el ejercicio para que practiquen. No hay ningún problema. Well, class, this is the question and answer section. Please let me know if you have any questions or any doubts, something I can help you with. No questions? All clear? ¿Estamos claros, chicos? ¿Todo bien? ¿No hay ninguna consulta por acá? ¿Ninguna duda? Siéntanse en toda libertad de aclarar sus dudas. Okay, well, class, if you don't have any questions, I really appreciate your time, your attention. So thanks a lot, class. Have a wonderful night. and have a good weekend as well. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
teacher. Thank you for the
Thanks,
class.
teacher. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Take
Bye,
care.
teacher.
Bye-bye. Good night. Good night. Good night. I don't know, Kevin, did you have any questions? Or Jamile? Okay. Bye-bye. See you.